All right, a couple highlights from GreatStockPicks.com to show you for Thursday. SOL was one. This is one of my favorite setups in that, these are 5-minute candles from today, in that something that's been beaten up pretty good and then sells off early and then comes back and puts a base below the early high of the day. Because here's the daily on this thing. It's been beaten up like all the other solars. Okay, so then today sells off again and then bases below the high of the day. What we look to do here is buy the base break, okay, because you've got a long and short battle going on here, right? Short's trying to push us back down to the low and through the lows, and long saying, you know what, we've had it, this is it. Now this thing's going up today. So you jump on the winning side here, and the high of this base was 843. So we said if it breaks this base, in other words, 844, right about here. Of course, we called it when it looked like this. Hadn't broken yet. So we said if this gets to 844, good chance it gets through the high of the day and then maybe kind of a mini little bit of short covering. So 844, and the beauty of these tight bases is the worst case stop goes below them at 836. So 8 cents a share risk. And let me show you here. It did hit 844 and almost immediately through the high of the day like we like. And then look at that. It was just off to the races. And again, initial 8 cent risk. The 8 cent risk was irrelevant after the trigger candle. So probably 2 or 3 minutes after it triggered, never revisits the break-even stop. And from 844 pretty quickly to I think 874, 30-cent move. Not bad on an $8 stock. And again, the 8 cent per share risk really was almost never relevant. You know, when you take a trade, you've got to have a line in the sand. So we know if we buy it, that's our line in the sand right below that base. But then once we break out, then we go to a break even, and you've got one of those famous can't lose trades, and maybe even put a little money in your pocket on the way up and break even stop on the rest. So those are always fun. Kind of the same thing on Abercrombie and Fitch, except that Abercrombie's been really strong lately. Here's the daily, but it gapped up into space today. So it's not playing for short covering. Well, in a way it is. I'll talk about that in just a second, but it's more just playing into strength. And what we had here on Abercrombie, ANF, gaps up, as we know, are usually preyed upon by shorts. They love to fade these gaps up and take it down and start filling the gap. Well, that happened on Abercrombie. They took it through the lows of the day, and look at this. It bounced a little, and they took it back through the lows of the day. So now you got shorts thinking, hey, this is easy money, and then look what happens. And I didn't really find it until it looked like this. It was already back up near the highs of the day, but a tight base here. I said over this base, 55.33. Worst case stop, 55.05. So that's a 28 cent a share risk. Not bad on a $55 stock. And it took a while to get going. It triggered there, finally got through the high of the day, and then got some momentum, and ended up going up to the high there was 56.49. So a $1.16 move ultimately on 28 cent per share risk that never got stopped out. So that was a couple highlights today. MTW is not really worth bragging about, but I'll show you that one too. Had a nice tight base at the high of the day, and it was kind of trying to break out of this long base on the daily. This is what it looked like right there, what it looked like yesterday. So then when we found it, it was trying to break out of that long daily base and had a nice tight base here. It hit an early high, 1162, revisited that, then sold off, and then right back up. So I told everybody 1163. Worst case stop, 1150, so 13 cents a share risk. But then once it broke, again, I said now I like my stop below this tight base here. So it was 1163 with a worst case stop, 1156. So really a tighter stop than you think. And then this climbed all the way up to like 1190, I'm sorry, somewhere around 1190. There, it broke 1190 right there. So again, another one that never looked back. So that's just a few highlights from today. And that's really all I have to babble about today. So I'm going to quit, and we'll follow up tomorrow night, Friday night, with a highlight video from Friday's trading. Have a good evening.